Welcome to Giggle vs. the Maelstrom Arena, Round 5, the Rink of Frozen Blood. This is the first round, I think, where you start to run into instant death mechanics. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But part of avoiding that is having the right powers. So what I'm doing here is I'm swapping in a ranged interrupt, Crushing Shock, in place of I took out Reaper's Mark and decided, no, I really want Reaper's Mark. I'll take out Refreshing Path instead. So with my build tuned for this particular round, now we've got to face it. Basically, you've got a bunch of water that is freezing cold and damages you quickly. And you've got these islands of ice that you can stand on and not take damage. So of course the first thing I do is get knocked off the island, which is just great. The round consists of archers and other mobs coming out, and trolls. Trolls are a special mob in this round in that they don't target you. They target the ice patches, the ice lily pads, if you will, and they try to break them. So you really have to pay attention to them. Not so much in this first round here, but in the later rounds in this stage, it becomes important not to let them break any of the ice flows. See, the problem is the damage that the water does will kill you. It's not just ticking away for hit points of damage over time. Eventually it kind of explodes and you'll take some ridiculous quantity of damage from it. An unsurvivable amount. So if you lose all of your islands, that's it. The game's over. It won't kill you right away, so it's not necessarily obvious, but there's no way you can survive it. So one of the primary mechanics of this stage is you have to keep an eye on the trolls, and you have to kill them before they break an island. In the early stages, if you miss and they're able to break one or two islands, you can still be okay. But in the final stage, you can't let them break even one. That's what the ranged interrupt is nice for. When they start pounding on the island, you see them doing that animation. Hit them with a ranged interrupt, it stuns them, and you can just take them down. They're not actually all that tough, at least in normal mode, so it's not too problematic. One of the play tips for this round is don't do what I'm doing now. Don't keep your camera facing away from the center. Right now I can't see the other two islands and I can't see if a troll is spawning. You really want to keep the camera facing this way so that when you see that glow in the middle and a troll spawns, you know to get right over there and take him out. Another play tip is don't do what I'm doing in terms of use your execute on full health mobs. If you're familiar with it, Impale has kind of that motion. Your arm juts forward. And Impale's a great power, but only when the mob is already about to die. You can see I almost missed that troll. I wasn't putting the camera in the right position. I didn't notice him spawn. You do have a little bit of leeway in terms of time. It takes them, I think, about 15 seconds or so to take an island out, so you can get in there and interrupt them or damage them. This is one of the sort of mini-bosses you run into. He's not particularly bad, he just has a move that slows you down, which is bad if you need to get to a troll. I like the ranged interrupts because getting into melee with them can be challenging. You can also just bash the troll if you're in melee to stop them from destroying the island, but it's tough to get that far, to move from island to island, and if there's a lot of mobs in the way, it can be tough to get the bash to hit them rather than something else. So here, I see a troll spawning, go after it right away. As soon as it starts doing its bash attack, you can interrupt it. As you'll see in one of the other ones, if you interrupt it before it does its bash attack, all you're doing is regular damage to it. Archers for Giggle's build are particularly worth taking out because they can hit very hard, and her defense is primarily healing ward, which is great, but it's better when it is allowed to go its whole duration and pop. If a mob actually damages it out of existence, it's not quite as strong as it would have been. There I'm using Sap Essence, which is an AoE. Perfect for situations like that where you've got a number of mobs around you. It's a little problematic in terms of how much magicka it costs, and that's something to look for in any AoE that you use. There's not really such a thing as a magicka efficient area effect attack. I got lucky there, and the troll just happened to come to the island I was on. I'm not sure if I was really paying enough attention to notice it moving towards a different island. Versus big guys like the Frost Atronach, and he's not really that big. He's only got 40,000 health, so you can see he went down pretty well. Against them, you really want to stick with single target damage if you can. Though, see there, I'm using the interrupt, but he's not interrupted because he wasn't doing anything interruptible. Take him down. I like to focus on the human type mobs first, only because they tend to be easier to take down and they tend to be more DPS focused. You can see here, I'm not looking at that side at all. I'm not paying attention to what's happening in the middle. There, the troll spawns, and I'm on the ball enough to interrupt him and take him out. All of the melee mobs will come along with you, and even most of the range mobs will move, just because they don't have that much range. Again, Sap Essence there. As a Nightblade power, that's a particularly good one since it's doing a whole bunch of things. It's AoE damage, it's healing, it's a damage boost. Not many classes get something that's sort of that much of an all-in-one. But each of them has their own unique talents they can put towards things like this. What I was saying about the human-type mobs is they tend to do a lot more damage. The giant here can hit pretty hard, but he also telegraphs it pretty well, so it's easy to avoid.
Get me, Prince! Where do you find these weaklings?
Again, got lucky, and the troll was coming towards this island. There, I'm sort of spamming Impale on him, hoping to bring him down, which is not the best move, but in a pinch it's effective. I think part of the reason I was doing that was I've got Impale on the 1 key on my Destruction Staff bar, and I've got Funnel Health on the 1 key on my Resto bar. And so if I lose track of which bar I'm on, they're at least both attacks. You can see there I've missed that there's a troll on the other island, because I'm not doing anything, I'm not paying attention. Finally I notice him, I start running over, and it's too late. He's destroyed the island. So I've got to get back onto the one that I was on, or I'll freeze to death. The problem with the troll is I can kill him, so now he's coming over to destroy this island. And there's 4 mobs around here. Targeting him's kind of a pain, so that's a time when it's nice to be able to switch to your area effects and just drop everybody at once. The troll's weak enough that he'll go down pretty quickly. You can see I'm taking some frost damage here. The screen's getting frosty around the edges. So here's your final boss. She has one particular mechanic that's problematic. I'm going after the troll here because what she'll do is at 75 and 50% health, she's going to destroy an island. Now, you can choose which island that is by where you're standing when you drop her below 75 or 50. But the thing is, it's guaranteed she's going to take 2 of them out. So if you let one of the trolls take even 1 of the islands out, that leaves you with nothing. The boss would be at 50% health, and the only chance you'd have to beat her, there, she just took the island out. The only chance you'd have to beat her would be to kill her, drop her from 50 to 0 before the frost damage from the water killed you. Might be possible, but if you can do that much damage, you're probably not doing normal mode. Maelstrom Arena. And you probably wouldn't have run into the problem of losing an island in the first place. Again, do what I'm doing here. Pay attention. Notice that there's a troll over there. Panic, run over, interrupt him. Yay, he didn't get to destroy the island. Life is still good. Even against the boss like that, the trolls really are the priority target. You have to take them out, no matter what anybody else is doing. The boss does have a fear mechanic that you need to watch for and be able to break. Like here, running off in the water. You should break it faster than I did there. That's great. Stunned, that's a good. Stunned, break free, stun the troll. Take the troll out before it destroys the island. She destroys the island. If the troll had broken it, she would have gone over to the last one and destroyed that. And you would have basically failed this round of the stage and needed to fight her again. Try not to wander into the water. You don't have to. Just creates damage that you don't need, and it's it's a nice tick of 1.6k for every frost tick, and it lingers for a while, so it's not all that great. Again, in the water. The Nereids, they're the floaty ghosty women, do a geyser effect that you want to stay out of too, so there's a lot of things to kind of not be in. If you lose a pad in one of the early rounds, it will come back in the later rounds, so it'll refreeze and come up like they did here. And once you take the boss down, you get your treasure. Gloves of Succession I got on this one are actually kind of nice. It's a decent Magicka item. You're always getting a fair bit of gold, and they're decent experience. And this takes us on to the Spiral Shadows, which is, again, significantly more difficult.